Hey there, I'm just going to show you how to do the sewn hem for the LFG Pussy Hat pattern. I hope this will help a lot. I do write out how to do this, but a lot of people are visual learners like me, so I'm hoping that this helps out. This is not in the round, it's just a little sample. Yours will be knit in the round, but I did the few rows of stockinette stitch, followed by a row of purl and more stockinette stitch. The purl edge is going to be the bottom of your hem, so you're going to fold it in like that, and it's going to want to fold like that anyway. You can see it's kind of created a tent there. So that if you fold that in, you're now going to have your working stitches at the front of your work and your cast on edge at the back. The purl stitches facing each other and the knit stitches facing outward. I'm just going to sew these two together by knitting through the front stitch and the back of the cast on edges at the same time. So what you want to do is make sure that you pick up every knit stitch, you pick up a cast on edge, the same cast on edge. So 1, 2, there you go, front and back. So you want to make sure you're picking them up one for one. When you're knitting it in the round, the best way to know where to start, because it kind of folds into this big mess in the beginning, there will be a strand. There will be your stitch marker at the beginning of your round, but in case you've taken it out, which you should have, I suppose, no, you wouldn't have taken it out. So the stitch marker will be at the front of your round. You're going to want to make sure you're at the stitch marker, taking the first, oh no, the stitch marker will be up there. Don't listen to me, listen to me. All right, so what you will have here is a strand off the edge where you did your initial cast on. So what you want to do is make sure you match up the stitch that has the strand hanging off of it with this first stitch of your round at the marker, so that you know you're working with first stitch and first stitch. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to knit. I put my needle in the first stitch on the front needle. That's your first knit stitch on the working needle. And then I'm going to put my needle through the cast on stitch on the back of the needle. Now I like to use, I hope you can see this, I like to pick up the two legs of the cast on stitch. However, if you don't grab two legs and you just grab one, that's also fine. Now I'm just going to wrap my yarn around my needle as if to knit and pull it through the cast on stitch and pull it through the knit stitch at the front on the front needle and slide the knit stitch off the front needle. Okay, we're going to do that again. Put my needle in as if to knit on the next stitch on the front needle, the working needle, then try and find the next stitch on the back needle. Now, the best way to do this, and maybe I'll do this one more round in, or one more stitch in, just easier to see. So I'm going on my next stitch now. I'm going in through the front of the front stitch in the back as front stitch on the needle as if to knit. I'm going to the back needle and I'm going to knit that stitch at the back and then pull it through the front. I'm going on to the next stitch. I'm going to go in the front stitch in the front on the left hand needle as if to knit, but don't work it yet. Now, if you want to find out where the next stitch is on your cast on, it looks kind of messy over here, just pull your working yarn a little bit and you can see the stitch that you put through the last piece with the working yarn sticking out of it. So that's the next stitch to the left is what you want to grab. So now you can see that very clearly. I'm going to grab the next stitch to the left that's on the cast on edge. I'm going to pull the yarn through as if to knit and then pull the yarn through on the front needle and drop the stitch off the front needle. I got 4 stitches worked. I'm going to do that again. Stitch through the needle through the stitch on the front, needle through the next cast on stitch, wrap it around, pull it through as if a knit stitch, and then pull it through the stitch on the front and drop the stitch on the front off the needle. Needle through the front stitch, needle through the cast on stitch, wrap it around, pull the yarn through the cast on stitch, pull the yarn through the knit stitch on the front, and slide the stitch on the front off the needle. One more time. I've gone quiet. I'm hoping you're enjoying. Now you can see somehow, oh no, somehow I've got, see these ones have just sort of curled in together. Somehow I've missed one stitch along here somehow. Or maybe that's, yeah, because I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I sort of got this edge stitch. So I've got 4 stitches left, and I need, oh, no, I do. I have 1, 2, 3. Yes, I've got 1, 2, 3 stitches left, and I've got 4 stitches here. So what I want to do now is go through the front stitch. If you've got not enough stitches in the back, and this will happen, like on this one, you know, I probably could have kept it straight. When you're doing the 112 stitches around, I tend to mark every 10 or 20 stitches around on the cast on edge because it's very easy to get off by 1 or 2, and if you get around to the end, you might be off by 5, and you don't want that to happen. So I want to make sure that I've got 3 stitches on the front needle if I've got 3 cast on stitches left on the back. So what I'm going to do is go through the front needle as if to knit, go through the next cast on stitch as if to knit, same as what we've been doing before. Now with the next stitch, I'm going to go through that front stitch, but instead of going through the next cast on stitch, I'm going to go through the same one that I just worked. So again, pull the strand back so you can see which stitch you just picked up. Go back through that same stitch again. Pull your needle through, your yarn through that one and that one, okay? And if it's done once in a while over the whole thing, it won't pucker up. If you try to do 5 of those at once, it will pucker up. So now I've got 2 more stitches to do. Just gonna grab those stitches. So here, that's my last one. Oh, there we go. Cast on edge, boop. And then again, the last stitch. And that cast on edge stitch. Now, what I've got is this fabulous pocket with that is sewn together and loves a lovely flat hem. And the best thing about this is when you're doing the color work, you can just tuck all of your ends in this fabulous little pocket as you're sewing it up, and you don't have to sew in a million little ends. I left fairly long strands to my color work so that it wouldn't, like, you don't want little ends, they might pop through and you'll lose your color work. I left fairly long strands to all my color work on the inside so that I could just leave them in the pocket and they're not gonna fall out. There you go, there you go. Well, I hope you enjoy knitting your very own LFG pussy hat.